What's up, Weld family? This is the Welding Machine coming to you guys from the C10, guys. We just hit 500 subscribers. Thank you guys, every one of you guys that subscribed. I appreciate it. Now, on to other things. We got a minute into the video. We're going to talk about some stuff, some important stuff that are written down that I think is important because I got a lot of people that ask a lot of questions about things like this, and I think it's some things you need to know, right? You know, it's not your typical welding video or anything like that. I don't know, maybe I should stay right here. So it's not like your typical, welding video, project video. This is like a business. So I'm going to break this up into 3 series. We got business 1, business 2, and business 3. All right, guys. So pretty much starting your business. What are the steps to take to start your first business? Well, step number 1 is to determine whether or not you want to be an LLC or a sole proprietor. Okay, so simple breakdown of an LLC is a hybrid company that combines features of both corporation and partnership. That's what an LLC is. And the sole proprietor is one person with no distinction between the business and you. So that means LLC is more protected. It will somewhat protect you, except for if you're a single owner of the LLC. That's another thing. We'll discuss that later. So a LLC gives you more protection. A sole proprietorship there's no line between you and your business. It's all one collective. But when you claim taxes and stuff, that's another topic. We'll talk about that in a minute. But also, guys, so you got to determine whether or not you want to be LLC, sole proprietor, and also whatever one you do, register in all counties. It's cheap. I think in North Carolina, register all 100 counties is like $25 at the registered deeds office. So that's just a thought, But you have to pay county tax and the county tax and where you live at. So they'll ask you what's your equipment that you got, and then they'll tax you based off your equipment. I haven't got that yet. Surprisingly, they sent me a letter. I sent it back, and then they never said anything else about it. After you determine if you want to be LLC or a sole proprietorship, register for an EIN number. It's a tax ID number. You're going to need that because when you open up a banking account, you're going to need an EIN number. Now, if you're going to be an LLC, make sure you register as an LLC first and then get your tax ID number. And because once you make one and you become an LLC, you got to get a different tax ID number to go along with that name or the LLC or whatever. It's going to be different, definitely. I had to change mine once because the first time I got it is before I actually became an LLC or anything like that. Next thing is, set up a banking account. And another thing, a good thing to do is books. Keep your books good. When I mean by books, I mean your financial or your accounts. Make sure everything's balanced. Make sure you got checks and balances. Make sure so it's like a spreadsheet. I got one. It's like this lady that does them for free on the internet. You can look it up, but it's a free spreadsheet. Bank information. It just breaks everything down to where it's more easy to understand. It breaks it down to your accounts. Who paid what's coming out of your account, everything. And it'll match your bank statement that you get in the mail. So, guys, also check out for something like that because that will help out a lot. Trust me, because that's what I do to keep track of how much money I make a year. And that sets me up for the following year. And, I'm not paying quarterly. I'm paying at the end of the year. Some people pay quarterly. Like every quarter they pay taxes. So at the end of the year, it's not as much. I pay at the end of the year, but I should start figuring out my quarterly and how much I'm expecting to make. Like this year, I expect to make a lot of money. I don't know yet. I mean, so far we're off to a good start. We're off to a good start. And I mean, now I'm just kind of coasting through, getting things in order. So pretty much. Just figure out what you want to be, LLC or whatever, or sole proprietorship. Then get a tax ID number, open a banking account, and keep good records and books on your accounts. We're going to combine 2 parts to make it into one video. The first part you guys seen was like a little shorter. This one might be a little bit longer. I'm not for sure. It depends on how the topics go. And let me know if I should do a live or something, and we can just talk about this stuff and break it down. If you guys got any questions, hit me up on my Instagram at the Welding Machine LLC. I think that's what it's called. Anyways, it should be somewhere around here, you know. Hit me up on my Instagram, DM me, message me, comment on YouTube. Do whatever you guys want. And if you guys like the retro merch, you know, here's the old merch. Here's the new merch. And guys, and from the other video, I said I was going to contact a couple of subscribers. That comes across my mind to give them some free stuff. I'll be reaching out to you shortly. I don't know exactly when I'm going to do it yet, because I got to get some other things in line before I can do that. Alright, so now to the video. Recap from the other video is... Watch the video. Here's the link. Because I'm not going to recap it. You got to watch it, guys. You got to watch the video. Got to get these views up. You know what I'm saying? Almost 5. I'm already at 5 something. But, you know, thank you, guys. Thank you. Okay. All right, guys. So, pretty much one of my top things is after you determine whether you're going to be LLC or sole proprietorship or whatever like that, now you got to decide what kind of welding business you want. Or any business. This can work for any business. It ain't got to be specifically geared towards welding, but that's what I do, so I just kind of gear it towards welding. So you got to decide on what business that you want to put out, or what business that you want to do. Like as far as mobile welding, shop welding, and manufacturing. There's different, and then there's little branches that break off from each one of those, you know, types of businesses. So that's something that you need to keep an eye out for and pay attention to. For me, I'm doing mobile right now to get things started, and then I'm building a shop in my backyard, so I'm going to go shop and mobile, you know, because sometimes I don't want to leave home. Sometimes I'm like, hey, you come to me, I'll weld it, or you can park in my, you know, you can park on the side of the road at my house or whatever. So definitely decide on what kind of welding business you want, whether it be mobile welding, shop welding, and manufacturing. Now, with mobile welding, there's less overhead as far as like things you would need. Now, when I say this, and this is where it ties in with the top of the following next video or whatever. So with mobile welding, you got to get your own equipment. You got to get a generator. You got to have a truck. It don't matter what kind of truck, as long as you can pull it. You can drive a Honda, a minivan, anything that can tow or pull anything. That'll be fine. It ain't necessarily got to be a truck. It could be anything. I've seen guys work out of the SUVs, minivans, Hondas, Honda Civics. I mean, you name it. If you can move it and you can tow it, then use it. Use any vehicle to do your business. If you got to, just put everything in the Honda. I mean, something small, easy, light on gas. Easy on gas. But now you got shop welding. Shop welding. Oh, you might need insurance for mobile welding, but it's not recommended. What I mean by that is cover all your bases, fill out a form, have a form that says that, you know, pretty much we're not responsible for any aluminum and cast iron welds. Due to their nature, they may crack. And let them know, sign it, tell them about it. Certain things you can't get insurance for. Like if you're repairing on vehicles or anything like that, welding trailers, hitches, making trailers, insurance don't cover things like that. Insurance is more like handrails, staircases, like stuff like that. But everything else, insurance don't really cover. I could get insurance for $300 a month, or a year. I'm sorry, $300 a year. So certain things insurance covers and it won't cover. So just keep that in mind, because sometimes you don't really need insurance. I'm not saying don't get it, but depending on what you do, you might not need it. Shop mobile welding. You're going to need insurance for that, because if people are going to be coming in and out of your shop, you're going to have insurance in your shop just in case anybody gets hurt and they want to sue you. That's what you're going to need that. Especially if you want to become an LLC, then that'll be good. That'll keep somebody from taking your house, so to speak. Not necessarily, but so to speak. So shop welding. And I mean, with shop, you got to worry about electricity, you got to worry about power, you got to worry about insurance, you got to worry about how much traffic you're going to be bringing into wherever your shop is going to be at. These are things you got to think about. That's why I do the drop-off method. I have a box outside my shop or outside my home at the road or whatever. Just drop it off. If it's small, drop it off. If it's big, call me, and then I'll have you drop it off in my driveway, depending on what it is. So it's more overhead with having a shop versus mobile welding. Mobile welding is easier, less money, and you can get out there and go do it. Shop is a little bit more money, more costly, and it's like a lot of stuff. I'll throw up a couple steps, or not a couple steps, couple pros and cons. So the pros of mobile welding: easy, less money. We'll just throw up some pros and cons. Pros and cons, come up. Okay. Pros and cons of shop. Come up. Okay. Now that we got that out the way. All right. So after you figure out what kind of business type you want to be, LLC or sole proprietorship, then you got to figure out what kind of mobile welding business, mobile welding shop, or manufacturing. It ties in with shop. So we'll just say mobile welding and shop is two main categories you can come into, and each one of those categories branches off to something else. After you decide on what do you want to do with that, now here comes the part that's more involved and more detailed. Saving money to invest into your business, to invest back into your business. So the money you make, so I'll give you an example. Say Johnny charged $60 an hour, okay, for mobile welding. He pays himself $20. He pays his helper $10. So that leaves you with $30. Okay, now out of that $30 that you got left, since you're charging $60, your helper's getting paid $10, you're getting paid $20. So out of that $30 that's left, we'll say 15 of it goes to gas, consumables, and we'll just say gas, consumables, and truck parts. We'll just say that, or whatever kind of car you got part. So we'll say 20 goes to that. So that leaves you with 10. Now, the 10 is a magical number. You can do 10 whatever you want to do 10 with. What I do, if I charge 60, that extra 10 will go straight back to the business. I won't see that 10. I won't touch that 10. It goes back to the business for taxes or what have you. You know, whatever you want to break it out. Mine's a little bit more that'll go back to the business besides $10. Because, I mean, you got to cover taxes. But in your tax, when you file taxes, you file it with your regular income. So me, I work and have a day job plus welding on the side. All of that comes together and that creates my income from my taxes. That's another story. But, so yeah. So put money back into your business. Simple. I mean, think about it. If you work 10 hours, $10 times 10. Anybody? 100 bucks. 10 times 10, 100. So $100 go back into your business, and you keep, say you get, we'll say you get maybe 5 jobs at 10 hours for 100 bucks. That's 500 bucks that goes back into your business that you can invest back into your business. Ads, machines, things to make your life easier, like grinders and drills and magnetic drills, anything. Like for me, example, the money I save up for my truck out of my business money is going to help pay for the transmission to get redone and put back into the truck. Well, I'm going to put it back in because I'm going to save me some money. So invest in yourself. There's more investments that you can do with that nature. So these are some things you might need to look at, because some guys I know, I don't judge nobody, but some people, they make this money and they put it all in their pocket. They forget about everything. They don't care. Hey, we run out, we'll get some when we need it. It's important to save your money and invest it back into yourself. It is very important. Because if you spend up all that money you make, what if your machine breaks down? Can you buy a replacement? Can you buy a cheap generator to run a little cheap machine until you can get a replacement? Things you got to think about. You might have a $4,000 machine, but that $4,000 machine might become a paperweight, and you ain't got the money to buy another one or something to replace it until that can hold you over until you get enough money to buy a new one. Things you got to think about, guys. Like, I don't think about that generator I got. Yeah, I know it's old, it's dirt, it runs good, it welds good, but I'm still prepared just in case that machine craps out. I got backup. I can get a backup. I got a backup. That's the way I look at it. All right, now, and then the other thing that ties into saving money and investing money back into you is having profit. That $10 an hour can be a profit that you invest back into your business. I mean, you just got to have some kind of profit coming in. You can't just make money and just spend it all and not have nothing to show for it, you know. Out of that 80, Johnny gets 20, so that leaves 60. Out of that 60, Johnny's helper gets 15. That leaves 45. Okay, I think that's right. 15 plus 45 is 56. Yeah, 60. Okay, so 45 left over. And 45, we'll just say, covers your consumables, your gas, your truck parts. It covers all the whole spectrum of miscellaneous stuff, and includes buying a new welder if you need it. So you got to really think about, what are you okay with making? Because yes, everybody wants to make that $60 an hour and make that big money, but in reality, what are you comfortable with making until you know, because you're going to have to still, I mean, you can make that whole 80 if you want, frick saving up, make the whole 80. Go ahead. But if you don't put it in perspective for yourself, if you need that money and it ain't there because you spent it all, then you're living, all I'm saying is just think about it. Think about your pay. What are you okay with living with? Because, I mean, if you make $20 an hour and if you do overtime and all of that, or if you just do straight time, I mean, $20 an hour is a good, decent amount of money. If you get enough customers a week, you can live very comfortably. I'm not there yet, unfortunately. But pay. Think about what you want to make for your pay. Oh, man, we're about to end this video because my phone is on timer and that's how much time I got left. So we're talking about pay. Think of something that you're okay with living with until you make a lot of money. Be reasonable, especially if you're first starting out, because these things can really hurt your business, whether you do mobile manufacturing or shop welding. Just keep that stuff in consideration, because if you make the wrong call on how much you're going to make, or if you just take the whole 80 or the whole 60 or whatever you want to take, and you may need it, it's going to hurt you in the long run. So think smart when you're first starting out.